welcome in, Hope Dealers. It's been a little while, but it's your favorite two podcasters back, or at least, top five podcasters. It's
At
Steve and
least.
Bethany. How's it going there, Miss Mama?
Hey, I'm good. Yeah, it's been a minute. I've had a kid since I saw you last, which is
No, that's how long it's been. The baby
yeah,
has come and been born and is ready to graduate high school.
just about, yeah, or at least we're like a month in.
So
Yeah,
we got to
it's
get an
crazy.
update. Tell us all about them. Do you have any? I know you've got pictures. Do you have any pictures you can show us real fast? Or
No, I haven't gotten any pictures printed out yet. So I
okay,
that's on my to-do list, but I haven't. But yeah, I had a beautiful baby boy, which is kind of what I was expecting the whole time. Like I really felt like it was a boy because if anybody recalls, my husband and I decided to wait to find out the gender until like the moment. So we didn't know what we were gonna have, but the whole time I was pregnant, I really felt like it was going to be a boy. And so sure enough, had a boy. His name is Noah, and he was born 8 pounds, which I didn't know I had an 8 pound baby in there. I was surprised, but 8 pounds, almost 20 inches long, and super healthy. He's doing great. So it's been really cool. And we're let's see, we're at 4 weeks today. So yeah, he's almost a month.
that is fantastic. And my daughter, who's 17, she said she had a dream early on after she found out that you were pregnant that, yeah, it was going to be a boy. And she
Mm.
said the name that you guys were going to name him was going to be, I think she said Brandon Emmett. And she said she had no idea that your dad's name was Emmett. Now you didn't wind up naming him that, but
No,
that was in her dream.
that's funny. Yeah,
I
no.
know. Yeah.
Well, the thing is though, the name that she dreamed that could have ended up being the name because we didn't come up with what we were going to name him until like we had him and the nurses looked at Cody and said, "Okay, dad, what's the name?"
Yeah,
And
you
he was
only
like,
have a certain time limit, or else
"Yeah."
then the baby gets just named whatever the hospital wants him to name.
Yeah. At some point, they hand you paperwork for the birth certificate and they're like, "Here, figure it out. You got to come up with something."
So that's funny. So Noah just sounded good. Did he look like a Noah? I mean, how did that come
um
about?
we Noah had kind of been on our radar a little bit for like a couple months. Like it had been one of those names that we'd thought of. Funny story. Well, kind of it's like a two-parter. Um, in our community group in our Bible study, we're going through Genesis, and so we're reading all about Noah, and so that was kind of fresh on my mind. And I did want to do a biblical name. I wasn't quite sure what, but I liked a lot of names that happen to be Bible names. And so,
Good thing you
no,
guys weren't going through Zacchaeus, you know?
well, exactly. That's the thing. Some of the Bible names are a little hard to say, and you run out pretty quickly of like what is easily pronounced. So I thought, okay, we got to come up with something easy. I also liked like a one or two syllable type name, something kind of short. I liked those names. I found myself drawn to those. So I liked Noah, and that was kind of on my mind. But what really like solidified it as a baby name in my mind was I was listening to another podcast, and the host was talking about her kids, and she mentioned her oldest, Noah, and she was talking about her son, and she was just sharing about being in how she felt to be a new mom. Her son is now in his 20s, but she was talking about that and kind of what life looked like when he was first born, and just what he added to their family and all this stuff. So she was sharing all these things, and I just thought I kind of like that name, Noah. That kind of sounds nice, and it flows and it goes with our name and everything. And so I texted Cody and just asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, I like that." And so it went on our baby name list that we
Hmm.
had, but we didn't really decide on it until I think about the night before when we were in the hospital. I ended up having to get induced because, fun fact, I went a week over my due date.
Yes, you did.
So
Yeah.
I was 41 weeks and one day when I had him. But yeah, so we were in the hospital the night before getting ready to be induced, and we were kind of like, all right, it's Noah's our boy name. We'll figure out the middle name when we get there, but Noah's our boy name.
Well, that became a part of the radio show is Bethany being overdue, and how
Overly
you were making it sound like you were going to set some kind of record for the longest pregnancy in the world. And so
I
I
thought
threw it out to all the ladies that were listening to the radio show, and they were like, "Yeah, no, not even close." They said they had gone 43 weeks. I think one lady was like I mean, I forget. She said every one of her pregnancies was overtime, and she had three. It was
Oh,
just like, wow, that I to like she wins, you know.
I do kind of wonder because I wonder how old that person is because now I think they don't let you go past 42. I think at the very least it's or at the very most it's 42. I don't think they
Mhm.
let you go past that anymore. Just for health and everything. But yeah, it was funny. Everybody at the hospital was like, "Girl, why haven't you had this baby yet? Like 41 weeks? What are you doing?" And I was
Yeah,
like,
I
"I don't
know.
know. He's
I,
being
I
stubborn."
know, right? Well,
That's fun.
I'm glad everything turned out. Everybody's healthy and happy. And you said
Yeah.
just before we hit record that he's sleeping at least a little bit, 3 or 4 hours
Yeah.
at a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's still a newborn, so every night is different. Everything it's, there's really no pattern yet. But yeah, he last night and the night before we had a good night. He slept about a 4-hour stretch and then woke up, fed him, changed him, and then he slept for about another 3 hours. So that's been good. But of course, I'm expecting him to now sleep for like 30 minutes tonight just to throw me off because like I said, there's like no so so yeah,
Sure, he
it's
probably
it's been
will.
yeah, that's probably been the biggest like learning curve has just been the lack of sleep, which I think any parent would know. It's just different, you have this little person to take care of and they need to eat every 2 to 3 hours. And so you're up with them and it just is different. But yeah, I'm thankful that, he's growing the way that he needs to and he's healthy and we haven't had any issues with that. That's been a huge relief for sure.
I'll tell you the biggest issue I always had with the little ones when I was going through that time is when the baby won't stop crying no matter what you try to do, and you are so tired and you just can't hardly keep your eyes open, and you're rocking and you're trying to do everything you can, and the baby just won't stop crying. Have you
Yeah.
reached that yet? Has that happened yet?
He hasn't been just inconsolable yet,
Hmm.
which I'm thankful for, and I'm hoping that time never comes. I'm sure it will, but I'm praying against that. But I definitely have hit the point though. Like the first week was rough, just because for Cody and I, we are adjusting to not sleeping like normal. So we're extra tired, and then just we're figuring out, okay, how do we take care of this baby, and what does this all look like, and all of that. And the first week, there were multiple nights where like I fully fell asleep while I was feeding him, fell asleep trying to rock him, like all of that stuff. And Cody would kind of like nudge me, like, "Hey, you still with me? You still with me?" So
Yeah.
we both have moments like that.
I'm sure. I'm sure it's only going to get worse
Mhm.
as you move in through the next, year, 2 years as you're
Yeah,
going through
toddlers.
this. Yeah, the toddler years. Yeah. So that'll be it's an adventure, but it's always worth it. You'll get to the point. You'll get to the point where in 10 years you won't even remember it anymore. The hard times. So
I will say I think the hardest moment was um so in the hospital, you have the baby, they transfer you to postpartum to your like recovery room, right? Well, like I mentioned, I had to be induced. So I went to the hospital on a Tuesday night and stayed overnight. They started the induction process. I stayed overnight and then I ended up having him on Wednesday night. So by the time all was said and done, I got to postpartum and was admitted and everything like that. It was Thursday morning by the time we got to that room.
hmm,
So from Tuesday night to Thursday morning, I slept about an hour
really.
during that stretch. and and so I had no energy, like nothing. And Cody told me when we got to postpartum, he said, "Yeah, you reached a point where you were almost delirious because I was so tired. It was like I was talking and wasn't making sense." And the nurse asked me, she said, "Okay, it looks like it's time to feed Noah. And so, okay, are you ready?" And I just looked at her and said, "Not really." And it kind of fell out. And as soon as I said it, I thought, I'm a terrible mom. I don't want to feed my kid right now. I'm such a terrible person. But like I said, I was so sleep deprived and so tired. It came out, and of course I fed him, but I was like, what am I saying? I like didn't even recognize myself.
Did you send him to the nursery for any length of time to be able just to get some rest? Because
They
see a
don't do
lot of
that.
huh?
They don't do that.
What do you mean they
So
don't do that? What
they
kind of
don't teach you
hospital
how
do
to
you
do a
go to?
I went to the normal hospital, but they don't do that. And I don't know if they did it back in the day. They
Oh,
don't
of
do it now.
course. Yeah, with my kids, well, that was one of the things because it was Jana and me both were the same kind of way where we're just exhausted, especially her, obviously. And so, and we felt bad, well, yeah, but no, take the baby to the nursery for a couple hours, let mom get some rest.
Nope.
I can't believe they didn't do that.
No, they have a bassinet in your room and it's next to your bed.
Sure, yeah,
And
yes, but
so
they'll take that bassinet. Did you even request? Did you know you could request it?
no, I thought I'm the parent. I have to take care of him.
See, that's the thing. See, I think you got ripped off. You should ask for some of your
Maybe
money
so.
back on this deal because you could have had the baby go and have Noah go to the nursery 2, 3, 4 hours, let him just sleep and have just be in with the other little babies, and you'll be fine. You'll take your little nap. You'll never know he was gone, and you would wake up a lot more refreshed.
No, that was not offered to me. I wish I would have known about that because then I would have asked as if that was an option. He had to go to the nursery to get like tested for
Sure.
like hearing and all of that
Hmm.
and have like
Hmm.
different tests done. But yeah, they didn't offer that to me. I do I do kind of find it funny how, after you have the baby, they're like, all right, try to get some rest, just try to recoup. And every like 15 minutes, you have somebody in your room that's like, let me just check your vitals. All right, let me just check your temperature. Let me just shove this down your throat to check your temperature. Okay, hold on. What's your blood pressure like? Okay, let me push on your stomach. Let me touch your legs. Like there's nurses in there touching you all the time, but there's like just rest. Don't mind me. I'm going, I can't rest. You're touching my ankles. I can't.
I know, and that happens with every hospital stay, but
Oh yeah.
especially multiplied when you've just given birth. But no,
Yeah.
call your attorney and make some and get some litigation action. I'm just tell them this was not acceptable. You
I
should have been able to
lost.
take your baby to the nursery for at least a couple of hours.
I wish
All
I
right,
would have known about that. I should have called you and said,
you
Steve,
see, you should
what's
have.
the option here? Because I
You
didn't
should
know.
have. Yeah, I
Nope.
mean,
They
see,
never brought it up.
well, that's I can't believe that. That's verging on me to me malpractice. I'm just saying. Not here to make any kind of judgments. I'm just saying just
But we're gonna make some judgments.
we're gonna make some judgments. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, you had a big life change too because your oldest got married.
Yes,
So
it's
I had a kid. Your oldest got married. Tell me about the wedding. How was it?
no, it was great. And look, I haven't been to just a whole lot of weddings, obviously, in the last 20 years or so. But wow, it was really probably the best wedding ceremony I've ever been to. It started out with me and my little one, Brett. I was put in charge of him to go to the rehearsal place. And we got behind a little bit on schedule, and he was hungry, and I was kind of hungry, and I didn't realize how far the rehearsal place was and whatever. So it's like, okay, we'll swing by Chick-fil-A. We'll get some Chick-fil-A. We'll eat it on the way. No big deal, right? Well,
Right.
it's Chick-fil-A. It's backed up, it's backed up for 2 miles. And so I'm getting phone calls going, hey, where are you guys? We're on our way,
Steve.
I promise. And so anyway, we got there like 10 minutes late, no biggie. We get there, and the guy who's doing the ceremony is going through the spill about how what's going to happen when and the whole thing. And then he said something about it was okay. I didn't even know this was coming until I got there, and that is Tyler and Jesse were going to have me and my wife and her parents come gather around them and pray over them as the as a part of the ceremony, which I thought was awesome. I'd never heard of that before, and I
Yeah.
hadn't been told anything about that. And so then the guy who's doing the ceremony makes a little crack about me and the length of my prayers and everything. And the whole, yeah, I know everybody's like laughing. And I said, well, wait a minute, I'm feeling
Wait, this
attacked
is
over.
during the ceremony?
No, this is the rehearsal. It's the rehearsal.
Oh, okay,
And
okay,
so, but
okay.
I'm like,
That's good.
hey, I don't even know this guy, and he's over here hounding me on how long I pray. It's like, okay, well, fine. And so, anyway, that it all went off really, really well, and everything was good. The ceremony was excellent. The reception was a lot of fun, and I just got to noticing when Tyler and Jesse were out on the dance floor having their like first dance and whatever that how special of a moment it really was because I knew it was a wedding and I knew it was the whole thing, and then to realize that the from practically the day he was born. I mean, we were still in the hospital and we were praying for him and his future
Mm,
wife and the whole thing. I mean, very, very early in his
mm,
life. And now here we are. It doesn't seem like that long ago, but it was now been 21 years. And God had brought into his life somebody that we couldn't have picked out anybody better ourselves.
mm,
And to see those two together and they're having fun and they're dancing and everything, it was just kind of hit me. I got a little emotional. It kind of hit me right there as I'm watching and realizing that this is an answered prayer of 20 years plus,
mm,
and it was just a neat little moment to be a part of. And so yeah, it was great on all fronts. My wife and I, like I say, we love them and we love her parents. We've known her parents for a while anyway before they really got serious in dating, and so
mm.
we were friends. And we had the wedding. Then we don't see them, for 2, 3, 4 days. They literally came in, dropped their bags off at her parents' house, and then went and did something else. And I picked them. Then they got ready. We went to the airport. I took them to the airport for their honeymoon there, the week of Thanksgiving, and they were
Okay.
gone. They were gone the week of Thanksgiving for their honeymoon, and they came back. So obviously Thanksgiving Day they weren't there, but they did FaceTime us, and it was a cool little thing because they FaceTime not only us but her parents as well at the same time. So
Oh,
we had
cool.
this little. We were in Central Arkansas. Jesse's parents were in Northeast Arkansas because of them being with their family, and of course Tyler and Jesse out on the West Coast. And so it was
That's
kind of this neat, cross country FaceTime thing that was happening,
mm.
and so that was cool. And then when they got home the Saturday after Thanksgiving from their honeymoon, we went to her parents' name were Jeff and Shelly. We went to their house and had burgers and hot dogs, and it was just really good. It's been um, really neat. And like I say, uh, that one Sunday they came to church with us. I think it was after they got back, I guess. And one lady in our church said, "Oh, hey, I got to meet your daughter-in-law," and that was like the weirdest sounding sentence I'd ever heard. I
Yeah.
mean, I never really heard it out loud before. And it's like, oh, yeah, I have one of those now.
I have a
Yeah,
daughter-in-law.
yeah. You don't, because at your age, you obviously don't think about, I don't have a daughter in law.
Yeah.
You're never going to change that. You're always going to have that mentality and you're going
I
to look
don't
and
have
go,
one of those.
yeah, what do you mean? I don't have one of those. That's
Yeah.
like, it's like a Tesla. I don't have one of those. I have a Chevy. I don't have a
Yeah.
Tesla, but no, it was cool. And so
Well,
it's really neat. And she, like I say, Tyler and Jesse are just fun and great, and they're made for each other. So we're really excited to have her in the family.
that's so cool. I love that. Well, kind of a little bit in the same vein, I had to make a pediatrician appointment for Noah because they want to see him obviously as soon a few days after they're born. And so I called the pediatrician's office and said, "Hey, I just need to make an appointment for my son." And like that sentence sounded so strange coming out of my mouth. I was like, "I have a son. I
Yeah,
have a
I
kid.
know. See,
I'm somebody's mom now." Like that's weird.
it's exactly the same phenomenon that I
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
I'm a father-in-law? No,
Yeah.
that just seems so odd. I've spent 48 years of my life just being, a
A
son and a
dad.
dad, and now I'm a father-in-law? That's just
Yeah.
odd sounding. But I am. So, and I enjoy
That's
it,
so
so it's
cool
great.
though. Well, I'm excited for Tyler and Jesse because it's in the time that we've known each other, they've been dating pretty much that whole time
Yeah.
almost, and
Yeah.
so it's been cool to see their relationship progress and like see them be engaged and just that whole thing and all the wedding stuff. That's been super fun.
Yeah, it really has. And like I say, the ceremony was great, and it just everything is just off to a really good start. It sounds like for both of us here in
Mm.
our new little chapters of life. So, um,
Yeah.
so we're glad you guys spent some time with us here. Before we wrap this up, we're gonna let you know that we're still planning on coming back in January. Still planning on to do the podcast. Maybe sound a little different. Maybe a little tweaks here and there. We're going to work on all that and everything, but we're going to get through the Christmas season and hopefully have baby Noah sleep through the night.
Let's
Please,
hope.
Lord. Yeah. And and we'll get back with you guys right after the first of the year. But thank you for including us and not forgetting about us. We really do appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for all your prayers and your support. And I've just it's been cool to see you guys kind of come along for with us as we go through these new life changes and new life stages. That's been super fun. So thank you guys so much for just supporting the podcast and being who you are. We appreciate it.
All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your 2022, and we'll be talking to you early next year. Good night, Olive Branch.
Bye, you guys.